Hey, what's happening, traders? Thursday, July 20th, 8:44 a.m., and these are your morning ideas. Alrighty, let's check news first. I don't believe we have anything. Unemployment claims at 8:30 already passed. You can see that if we're looking at the big picture here, we were talking about this little area that we're in right now and how thick it was, and we would likely get just some more back and forth movement on the way up to 4,700. That's like ultimate destination. I'm looking at 4,700, then likely above that even, all the way up almost to 4,800 before we see like the volume really start to cut off. Now, what we did, if we're looking at a if you look at the 4 hour, you can see that we were in. Let me make this bigger. We were in this area here, right? And we had this ugly, ugly top, and then we've blown that top off, right? Well, we just went straight vertical for, let's see, what day is this? This is the 10th of July, so 10 days ago, we've gone vertical, and we really haven't even pulled back at all. So if we've include all of this, you can see that compared to the rest of this volume, we haven't traded a whole lot up here yet, which also indicates that we could pull back into this 4,500 area. However, when I look at the smaller picture, what we have is a typical example of on Friday, where is Friday was yesterday was today's Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday. Okay, so when we have these vertical moves, okay, and I really look for the vertical move with a volume point of control all the way at the top, because what you usually see when you see these kind of moves, you go straight up and then consolidate, 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 test higher, and it looks like we've tested higher and now we're pulling back. Now, if we pull back and we get through this area that we're in right now, you can see where all the volume was here on the 7th on the 18th. Okay, so this was on Tuesday, where all the volume was on Tuesday. This is kind of the bottom of it. So if we push through here, we'll likely see, I'm looking at these smaller areas. If you're looking at the 15-minute, of course you're looking at smaller areas, but looking for the market, if it gets through here to pull back into the 75, then you got another area there. Then we can pull all the way back into the 45-50 areas. That's just to a smaller version of this area here, right? So we see this area here, and we know that in these areas, what we can do is we go back and forth quite a bit and see a lot of choppy movement because it's a thick area that we traded in previously. So when I'm looking at the smaller picture, I'm just looking at areas that we could potentially trigger some kind of a pull back in this bigger long-term area. Remember, I have this area on my screen, 4414, which is the the low of the big area that I'm looking at. It's 160 points away. We're likely not getting there today. I'm looking at when I start to look down into the smaller areas. I'm looking at, okay, where will we pull back to? If we're pulling back in the huge area, where are the intermediate areas? And as I said, on the 4 hour, it looks like that intermediate area is really at like 40. Let's just call it 4,500. You can see where my crosshair is right here, where that volume kicks up. So 4,500 would be an area I'd be looking at to pull back to. And if I look at the big picture, 4,500 is like right here. It's right on the VPOC of this big area that we had before. So that would be like really the first area. If this market can kind of sell a little bit today, I'd be looking at 4,500. That's still 85 points away. That's quite far, guys. That's quite far. And if I'm looking at the volume, we only have 93% of the relative volume for the last 20 days. So I don't know if this is a market that's conducive to even sell off 85 points, but that would be, if we get any kind of selling, that's where I would be targeting for, outside chance of today, but more likely tomorrow if we get any selling. Otherwise, that 4,700 is still on the table as the higher value. I had a really good friend write me yesterday and has been struggling a little bit with his trading and was asking me about it. And I said, well, if you're struggling right now, it's probably because you've been trying to fade this move up. And this is a very important point for those of you that may be struggling in a market like this. If we're moving higher and we're in an area that we know we like, and that we've traded before, there's no reason you should be trying to fade this, because it's got just as good of a chance. Like, the ultimate destination really is showing us that it's likely higher. Now, any kind of pullback in this area is likely just a short term. So now you're having to be perfect on your timing when you're fading the momentum of a market that's doing fine higher. I've said that the last couple of days is this market is doing fine, moving higher. So you've really got to think, if you're struggling in a market that's directional, are you being a perma-fader where you think that at every sign there's going to be some kind of a pullback, and that you've got to be you're trying to pick the top here? Um, I would rather you see you err on the side of get run over if the market pulls back, than the other way around. If it keeps going higher and you're continuing to get run over because you're trying to short it. Okay. That's just my plan. I'm not saying that I always, uh, how do I want to say this? I don't want to say that I'm always chasing the trend higher. I'm not chasing the trend higher all the time. But if you're gonna go counter trend in a market that's been actually pretty strong here, your timing's got to be really, really good. Okay, and it's just hard to do that. That's what I'm saying. It's just hard to do that. So that's it for today, guys. Hey, the one thing I wanted to mention is, please, I'll share the video here right after. Is We have a contest running until the end of the month, where we're giving away $5,000 cash and a bunch of pro accounts. So look that up here, and I will let you guys go. Talk to you guys soon.